Today marks exactly 3 decades. Yet the memory remains as vivid as if it occurred just yesterday. It was my inaugural assignment following my return from the Vatican. A summons led me to aid a young girl in the quaint village of Oakshade. Following consultations with the Keller family, the time has come for me to fulfill my duties. My heart pounded against my ribs as I stood before her door. A sense of foreboding gripped me, but I knew there was no turning back now. The door creaked open, revealing a scene that twisted my gut into knots. The room pulsed with a palpable malevolence, its very walls seeming to ooze with a darkness that clawed at my senses. My eyes locked on Samantha, a poor girl tied to a chair, her body twisting and contorting in unnatural ways, as if her bones were made of rubber. Her eyes gleamed with a sinister intelligence, a window into the pits of hell itself. Stepping into the room, I was consumed by the oppressive atmosphere. My crucifix bore down on my palm, its presence a stark reminder of the divine weapon I wielded in this unholy battlefield. Samantha's body jerked and spasmed, her joints popping with sickening cracks in harmony with the chorus of pain that filled the room. A frigid gust swept through, sending a shiver down my spine. The air itself seemed to warp, as if the very fabric of reality strained under the weight of the entity's presence. The room was saturated with a putrid stench, a noxious blend of decay and sulfur that swayed to suffocate me. Samantha's voice emerged as a violent growl that echoed from the very depths of damnation. The walls fractured and splintered, unable to endure the overwhelming ominous aura that radiated from her. The exorcism rites tore from my throat, a desperate battle cry against the encroaching darkness. Samantha's body jerked with increasing violence as the holy water burned her skin, her groans devolving into a fading echo as the exorcism ritual pressed its assault against the sinister entity. Bloodshot whites replaced her eyes as her head twisted in an unholy arc, bones contorting beyond the limits of human anatomy. Her mouth stretched open inhumanely wide, and a wail of anguish erupted from her, a sound that seemed to split the very walls. Against the tide of unspeakable horror, I battled on, my voice cut through the discord like a blade, my incantations an unyielding defiance against the vile demon. I clung to the holy cross, its pulsating energy resonating with my desperate determination. Samantha's body thrashed and writhed, her form twisting in grotesque defiance of its natural limits. A haunting symphony of shattering bones, rending muscles, and hateful cries filled the room. Each agonizing note resonated with a painful truth, the audible manifestation of the battle being waged within Samantha's tormented form. The chilling melody struck a chord within me, a heartbreaking reminder of the depth of suffering that gripped her and the fierce struggle that sought to free her from demonic clutches that had taken hold. As the tumultuous battle reached its climax, Samantha's body suddenly went limp, collapsing against the restraints that held her. Silence engulfed the room, broken only by the sound of labored breathing. Trembling, I stepped back, my heart pounding in my chest as I surveyed the aftermath of the violent struggle. The room was a scene of devastation, the walls shattered and scorched by the demonic force. The remnants of the intense struggle I had borne witness to echoed persistently within the corridors of my mind. Each anguished cry and contortion of Samantha's body had left an indelible mark on my soul. The malevolent entity had receded, but its presence still whispered in the fringes of my senses. Walking away, a somber understanding settled within me. The battle waged against the darkness was a testament to human resilience, but it was also a somber testament to the insidious nature of evil. The feeling of triumph mingled with a sobering truth. I had merely forced the entity into temporary retreat. The struggle against evil was not a finite endeavor. It was an ongoing crusade, a perpetual dance between light and darkness. In the remote village of Oakshade, nestled amidst ancient woods and mist-covered hills, a darkness lay dormant. Unbeknownst to its unsuspecting inhabitants, an entity of malevolence lingered on the fringes of their reality, waiting for the opportune moment to awaken and unleash its sinister design. Samantha, a young and vivacious girl, possessed an innate curiosity that often led her to explore the forgotten corners of her village. Drawn to the mysteries that whispered through the trees and danced upon the breeze, she was a kindred spirit to the enigmatic forces that held sway over Oakshade. One fateful day, while wandering through the woods, Samantha stumbled upon an abandoned and crumbling cottage. Intrigued, she ventured inside, unaware of the ancient sigils and symbols etched into the decaying walls. These markings were remnants of a time long past, an invocation left by those who sought to bind an otherworldly being. The air within the cottage was thick with an unsettling energy, a palpable reminder of the malevolent entity that had once been tethered there. Ignoring the unease that prickled at the back of her neck, Samantha's fingers traced the patterns etched into the wood, her touch inadvertently rekindling the latent connection. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows through the woods, she ventured back home, only she didn't know she wasn't alone. A whisper, like a serpent's hiss, insinuated itself into her thoughts, weaving a tapestry of violence and sorrow. Night after night, the entity's influence grew stronger. It whispered in her ear promises of pain and suffering, of her worst nightmares becoming real. Gradually, the tendrils of darkness snaked their way into Samantha's mind, intertwining with her thoughts, desires, and fears. Visions plagued her dreams, twisted, distorted scenes that seemed both enticing and nightmarish. With each passing day, the entity's hold on her tightened, a relentless grip that began to warp her perception of reality. Her once vibrant eyes, full of love, now gleamed with an unsettling hatred and anger, a reflection of hell that had consumed her from within. Samantha's interactions with those around her grew strained. Her laughter turned to rage, her smiles replaced by expressions of contempt, disgust, and malice. These changes in her grew only stronger. The wellspring of hatred and fury within her soul gave rise to a violent force that left her loved ones deeply disturbed. The villagers sensed a growing aura of unease around her, but none could pinpoint the source of the change that had taken hold. Modern medicine couldn't be of any assistance to her. The intervention of doctors and the arsenal of medications they could offer paled in comparison to the insidious influence of the demon that held dominion over her. As the entity's malevolent presence took over Samantha's form, a diabolical union was forged. The once vibrant girl became a vessel, a conduit for the darkness, that had long awaited its resurgence. Her eyes glowed with an unholy fire, reflecting the void that now thrived within her. A guttural voice emerged from her throat, a chorus of ancient tongues that defied comprehension. The entity aimed to tear apart her humanity, fully replacing her essence with its demonic nature. But deep within the recesses of Samantha's mind, a flicker of her true self remained, a fragile ember of resistance. Whispers of fear spread through Oakshade as rumors of the girl possessed by a sinister force took root. The villagers huddled in anxious groups, clutching amulets and crosses, praying that the darkness could be quelled before it consumed the entirety of their village. In the face of the unknown and the incomprehensible, Samantha's parents sought solace in church, in the rituals of faith, hoping that the age-old battle between good and evil would tip in their favor. Their decision carried the weight of desperation, a parent's love intertwined with the harrowing recognition that the battle ahead would be as much spiritual as it was physical. With a heart fortified by faith and a resolute determination to confront the demonic forces that had ensnared girl's soul, a young priest emerged as their beacon of hope. The tale of Samantha's possession rattled through the village. It served as a haunting testament that evil, once awakened, could insidiously manipulate even the most innocent and brightest of souls. And though the entity's hold had waned for now, its malevolence lingered, waiting for the next opportune moment to seize control once more.